Welcome back to Far From Finished, everybody. These are your hosts, Joshua, and
Daniel, as you can see, we're here.
we are back in business after a 2 week period. We had a little bit of time in there so we can get. Wait, was it 2 weeks?
It's been 1 week.
I'm stupid.
It felt like a long time. It's felt like a long time. I'll give you that.
I'm stupid, but nah. It did feel like a long time. We had a very eventful weekend this weekend. We had our Friendsgiving for the 5th annual for our group that we have been loving for years to come. But that shit was insane, dude.
It was a wild weekend. It was great. And, with Thanksgiving coming up as well, tell your loved ones you love them. Count the things that you're grateful for, the things you're thankful for. Because life can get tough and a lot's going on, but really appreciate those ones you do have close. And, don't be afraid to reach out or tell people how you feel. Because, trust me, it makes you feel a lot better. And, try to finding those people you trust makes everything so much better. This weekend was amazing. Surpassed anything I could have thought it was going to be. Topped everything I thought it was going to be. It was everything and more. It was a fantastic weekend. It was amazing. It was a lot. It was so much.
For sure.
Memories that I'll remember forever. And it was a great time. So I really appreciate everything. And so even new people that I wasn't friends with there that I talked to, made some really good connections there and had some heart to hearts with some people I didn't expect. So it really was. It was something special.
It was so special. We planned on recording some podcasts at the Airbnb that we rented out, but we ended up getting a little too drunky and lost track of time and effort. So we just ended up enjoying ourselves and kind of being thankful that we had the time together with the people that we love before we get to have these Thanksgiving festivities with our respective families. But yeah, here we are back in the studio.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to talk again. And something I want to touch on is what before we even really get started is when I was talking to somebody, they were talking to me about how they do music, and I'm probably gonna end up getting this person on, so I'm not gonna say who it is just yet. But they were talking to me, and they were talking to me about podcast that we do as well, and I know a lot of people might not understand why we do it or the reasons we do it, or a lot of people don't even watch, but that's okay. But just remember the same reason that we do this podcast is I feel like is something that people should keep with them with whatever you do is even if what you do makes a positive effect on somebody else, even if it's just one person, it's worth doing it. Even if it's just something so small, you don't know the things that could affect other people. It could be the littlest things, going out of your way just to do one small thing for somebody. It can really make a positive impact on other people. And that's something I think you should keep in mind whenever you do whatever you're doing. And it's hard to be conscious about some things similar to that because, you're constantly worried about your own life and what you're doing. So you're not always worried about other people, but you just never know, just smiling or just telling someone they look good that day, as small as that, could really help somebody.
It could have a ripple effect, not just loving or bring a happiness to them that they bring to other people. Those late, make them enjoy their day more. I mean, you never, yeah, like you said, like you never know the type of effect you can have on a person. So I mean, just do what you feel is right. I mean, don't hoe anybody, but just for like your own gain or anything. Go out there and kind of feel is right. Like I said, like I don't know, the best way to live is kind of out like thinking about what you want while also not thinking so much that you get lost in thought. You have to kind of take action a lot and take action based on what you want. You're gonna find yourself able to smile and able to make other people smile usually.
I'll say this: over the weekend, we had a talk as well, and it really got to me because I am the type of person that I want to see everyone around me happy. I want to see everyone enjoying themselves, and I want to be there for everybody. But that also comes sometimes, and I think a lot of people can feel this. Especially people that may have anxiety or depression. Those people tend to put a smile on their face because they don't want to burden people with their problems They don't want to see other people sad. But sometimes you gotta do what makes you happy. You can't always worry about everyone else. We were having this conversation, and it really got to me, really touched me because sometimes you do have to take into consideration what you want or how you feel and make those things happen. And of course, you want to make the people you love around you happy. But you can't always just worry about everyone else because then you'll never really do the things that are going to make you happy inevitably.
Right. And you can get caught up in worrying about some. Put it this way, it's like if you have a table full of food and you worry about everybody else eating, you just eat last, you're putting yourself at risk of not. If everybody, I mean, that's not to say that you shouldn't like let other people eat for you, but maybe set a plate aside first.
Absolutely.
Because everybody got to eat.
Everybody should eat. Yeah, 100%. You shouldn't be left out in the cold if everyone else is eating. You got to eat too. Also, with all this being said, in the midst of doing all this, this doesn't mean you have to be serious all the time either. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to go out of the box. As much as I love helping people, I also do things that are questionable. So you can. No one's perfect. That's all I'm trying to say. So if you do something stupid, don't be so hard on yourself. I slept outside when there were beds inside this weekend. So with the, just it's okay to make mistakes.
We were at a mansion that we all collectively paid roughly about the same amount of money for. Daniel had a bed that he had claimed. Also swam in a pool that night whenever it was under 50 degrees outside.
I wasn't under. It's probably like 55.
Nah.
Probably like 55.
Probably like 49.
Probably felt like 49 with wind chill.
Okay. Regardless. He then, after he dried off, chose to dance himself to sleep at 7:30 in the morning outside on the balcony and used a sofa out like a lawn sofa chair cushion as a mattress. And that was his mattress of choice for the evening. Whenever we were at a mansion.
It worked out. Honestly, it felt better out because like I was kind of warm and the wind felt good, but I had blankets, so it was nice.
Those blankets looked quite thin.
First of all, it's 50 degrees inside, so I was the same either way. It didn't matter.
My point about the 50 degrees is that you're swimming in that weather. It's not smart.
And here I am alive today to tell the story.
With the sniffles tomorrow.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's hope. No. And it was a great weekend though, and family and friends are very important, and I'm more than thankful to have all of you, and I'm thankful for all the people that have come into my life and the people that will come into my life because that stuff means so much to me. It definitely.
Ditto, kid. Memories forever
and ever. But with that being said, let's dive in.
Ever and ever.
Let's dive into the good stuff here today. So I'm here to talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. I feel like we focus on a lot of stuff that doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters
to certain people. For certain reasons.
Absolutely. But in retrospect, I think we don't realize a lot of the things what really matter. We like to put a lot of meaning into things that aren't as important than what is really important, which is humanity. Humanity is what's really important. We are really important, people to people, conversation, understanding, comprehension, which I know is tough for a lot of people to comprehend what's going on, but just use those noggins, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of the times when we look at what's happening in the world, we look at certain things, and that's how we feel the world is. When there's so much meaning behind what those things are. And we choose to see it or we choose not to see it a lot of the time. And of course, that's going to happen because everyone has their own opinions,
right,
and views and values. So that's going to change how you see certain things. You know what it kind of reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever seen Watchmen. Have you seen Watchmen?
I don't. I think they made like a new offer. I saw the one that came out like or whenever it came out.
Yeah, that was the movie. They have a TV show now,
Oh, really?
but yeah, that was the
I saw the
movie of the
movie. Yeah.
superheroes. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so there's the one called Rorschach who has the mask
With the faces
that
change.
changes. It was psychologists, they show you kind of
Yeah.
what do you see. You know what I'm talking about?
Or like, what do you see whenever for the ink
yeah,
blots?
yeah. What do you see? Of course, everyone's answer is different based on whatever you've been through or how you want. You kind of perceive that how you choose to perceive that. Sometimes you see something, sometimes you see nothing, and it really all depends on who you are as a person. I think when the way that the world is, that's kind of how we view the things around us, which also affects how we view the world. For instance, one of the biggest things when you look at the American flag, what do you think?
I think Pledge of Allegiance.
When you think of the American flag, what is
the first thing that comes to mind?
Okay, well, what is the American flag
meaning?
What does it mean to you?
Yeah. Oh,
what does that stand for? What is the American flag? For some people it means pride.
I guess like freedom more than anything.
Stands for freedom.
Liberty, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, see, for you would say that.
What's the definition?
For some people think slavery, or some people think a racist country, or some people think oppression.
Yeah.
So it means something different to everybody. And don't get me wrong, it's just a flag. It's just a flag with colors and stars.
Right.
But we put the meaning behind what we feel like it is. And of course, the people that have power and people that have the ability or opportunity are going to see it as, the land of the free, the home of the brave.
Right.
Land of opportunity. People have come here legally for what? Opportunity. To make something of themselves because they didn't have necessarily.
To create a better life.
Create a better life for themselves.
For them or their family.
But then you get here and there's people that treat you like shit because you're from somewhere else. This is supposed to be the melting pot where everyone's allowed to come, right? Everyone's allowed to express themselves and everyone's allowed to make an opportunity for themselves. Wasn't that the whole point of us coming here in the first place? We came here. We didn't like how Britain ran things. We wanted to do things ourselves and create this new land of opportunity.
Right.
In the process, killing a bunch of Native Americans, slaughtering them in the name of freedom or whatever. So think of all the people that come from Native American descent.
Right.
Or all the people that were enslaved for all those years. What does the American flag mean to them now?
I mean, I don't know because I'm not them. So, I mean, I'm not going to speak for them. But I see where you're coming from. I mean, at the same time, if, first of all, the people that were enslaved or killed at that time aren't alive. So, you're talking about, the descendants of these people. What does it mean to them? I guess they could talk about the oppression that. I don't know. It's I always had this weird thought. Maybe history doesn't exist the way we think it does. We only know what we know because it's taught to us. History books and dictionary, things like that. And like you said, and everything has a meaning to it, and perception can change the meaning to a certain thing, certain eyes. So maybe learning is a perception that was given to us. How is that? Who is that? Whose perception was that? You know what I mean? Who created the perception that taught the general public?
I mean,
probably the government, right?
Government. I thought you said governor. I was like, there's a governor.
I did say that, but I didn't mean to.
Okay. So I was
but
who's the governor at the time?
And so, that being said, so it's if you're talking about what does the American flag mean, whatever the government wants it to mean. Really, I mean, it's gonna mean certain unique things to certain people, but not really that. It's not gonna mean it to that person because that person felt it, unless that person's being oppressed to. Some people are. It's I'm talking about in a generality, but for the most part, things have calmed down. They're not as crazy as. There's still terrible shit going on in the country and most certainly outside of this country in this world. But what I am saying is, what does the American flag mean? The better question is what does the American flag mean to parents having their kids ripped away from them in Mexico or at the border?
Exactly. And one of the biggest things I think that has come about in this country.
That's happening now.
Exactly. one of the biggest things to me right now that's happening in this country. There's a lot going actually on around the entire world right now, but for something that's directly happening to us.
Right.
Wait, just real quick, I guess. Shouts out Hong Kong. Shouts out Israel. It's a lot going on in those countries right now. Super foul, extremely foul, unacceptable. Don't know how it's being allowed to happen. Don't know how things that are such like so inhumane are being allowed in the world for power.
Talk about like allowance, not necessarily allowed. It could be forced. And most of it is forced. If you're somebody that, this is what I'm saying, is like it's only allowed if somebody said you can do it.
And what's crazy is I think the only way that'll be able to stop is if we did end up starting a world war. Because if another country stepped in and was saying you shouldn't be doing that,
That's what I'm saying.
how are
It's
you
like
gonna stop me?
you can say ethically as a unit Earth, we should try to step into other countries, but world war is be like a even a contributing, like if that could even be possible of happening by trying to step in, then most that's I don't know though. It seems like a lot of shit happening late foreshadowing, almost like a war is meant to happen.
I don't leading up to that. It's a little crazy.
For sure, like got the fucking president and dictator of North Korea just tweeting each other.
Okay, yeah. So back on our country. When you look at stupid, when you look at things such as the MAGA hat, or when you look at things such as kneeling, right? Two opposing forces there. You got people on the MAGA hat
You mean
signs
like kneeling down?
during the national anthem.
Oh, okay.
So when you have people wearing the MAGA hat, they're like, it's just a hat. You shouldn't be, you know, treating people like this because they have a MAGA hat. And those same people will also say,
I just bought a tiki torch at Walmart. I'm on the way down to Charlottesville with my white buddies.
I wasn't gonna say that. No, I was gonna say those same people. I know, okay, I see where you're going, but not what I meant. I was gonna say those same people are also gonna be the same ones to say, I can't believe you're kneeling during the national anthem. This is a country on pride, on this is freedom, but it's also at the same time. So you're saying you can wear the hat, but you can't kneel during the national anthem.
Well, it's like you can't wear a hat that represents something like this. But it's like, how are you gonna judge a hat that has representation behind it? Like saying like, why can't this, like why is there a representation behind a hat if there, but then also judge and say you can't be like here enough to care about this like representation of down here than you give so many fucks about somebody commenting on your MAGA hat. It's like if I own a MAGA hat, then I'm saying that even I don't give a fuck about what the hat represents, and I might even support it. So somebody kneeling during the national anthem would understand what that represents, and like the thing is that whole thing got misrepresented. I think both the hat and see, because like at first the hat I feel like was just like a marketing thing for Donald Trump. I didn't think it was really gonna like take the power that it took. I don't think really anybody thought that. But once it did, people started acting racist and insulting to minorities and people that are immigrants
while wearing the hat.
While wearing the hat, it became like there was representation behind that. It was like they were acting as Donald Trump's like fucking posse and trying to like enforce maybe ideals that they think he would have. I don't even know if he's he may have or may not, but I don't ever even shown like to say that like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
He did say immigrants are dangerous and they do drugs and illegal activity and they're criminals.
I'm not well versed on that. But
You did say
what
that.
I am saying, what I was trying to get to is that the kneeling down was completely misrepresented. It was supposed to be about police brutality. It was supposed to be about how police are trained to profile certain minorities in this country. It was supposed to be about that, and it started getting wild and people saying you don't care about the people that gave you the freedom to kneel down, the soldiers in this country. And like, it was never about the soldiers. It was never about disrespecting the military. It was never about any of that. But everybody who got disrespected made it only about that. Nobody who was disrespected about somebody kneeling down was talking about police brutality or that the police aren't doing this or that, because they know that they are. They just tried to change the whole subject of why they're mad, even though that wasn't table of why they were kneeling. Crazy.
It is, and that's where it goes. It's not just the symbol, like the hat itself doesn't mean shit. What the intent behind it and all the people that have worn it in certain situations, it gives meaning to the hat. Therefore, just such as the kneeling, you kneel, and then these people who see it give their own meaning to the symbol and what it stands for, rather than what it may actually have meant in the first place. Us giving these meanings behind these symbols, and then that kind of affects the way we see the world, which is crazy because that hat meant nothing at first. He just wore a hat. It was a hat that Donald Trump wore and sold. But then all these people that wore it began to take these actions, which then sort of affected how we viewed the hat, which also affected how we viewed the world and how we acted, how the world came to be, and how these groups came together. Because, you start seeing these groups form as well based off of these symbols. Based off of this kneeling, you started seeing these activists come up. Based off of this hat, you started seeing more people become bold and start kind of acting out of character. Or maybe that was their character, becoming more bold and acting in this character that they were based off of what this symbol was.
Yeah.
And it seems so simple. It's just, when you think back, I don't necessarily want to just relate it to this, but it's the easiest thing too. When you think of, the swastika, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't mean shit beforehand. Now you draw that means something.
Right.
Terrific.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, like, isn't like now what it's used for? It's a
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Neo-Nazis.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's true that the swastika didn't have a meaning before the Nazis were created, but I know it didn't have that meaning.
Exactly.
No, it didn't have the meaning that, like, kind of you support a genocide of Jewish people.
It wasn't just. It was majority Jewish people, but they killed a lot of people.
I'm saying the genocide was. Genocide is a group of killing a group of people based on like what they.
Yeah.
Like the genocide of what was that? The Tutsis.
The Tutsis and can't remember. We watched the movie on
that.
Hotel
Rwanda.
Hotel Rwanda. Yeah.
Great movie.
Great. I would recommend watching that.
But yeah, no. I don't know, man. It's weird though. It's crazy how certain events. I don't know if other countries see 9/11 as such a horrific event as we do. You know what I mean?
And then based off of that one thing,
like, I don't even know if 9/11 is taught as a horrific event in schools. Maybe not, maybe so, but I can't say that. Like, that's what, like, it's such a, like, if you ask anybody in America that was alive and like, of an age to know, like, have a wherewithal, then they would be able to tell you where they were on that day.
Most people, yeah.
But outside of America, might not even know what you're talking about. That's weird. It's like, we're a country. I mean, where there's a whole Earth. That's a major event. Like, there was I don't know. Who knows? That's for another time. But I don't know. It's weird to think that it shows you how big the world really is and how not connected. What we're like, what we're being taught and how that differs.
Comes back to us worrying about ourselves, and if it's not directly connected to us, who cares?
Right.
But then you say that enough times, it's going to come to you. That problem's going to become yours at some point.
Maybe.
potentially,
Potentially, it
and
could, yeah.
you don't know. It's just like 9/11. You don't know. That problem wasn't there until it was us,
Right.
and then it's a problem now. And stuff
Right.
like that happens everywhere. If we were to be accountable and kind of take it to where we don't let these things happen anywhere, then it would be more so the fact that we're not just worrying about ourselves. We're kind of keeping everybody in check. Everyone's keeping everyone in check.
But we don't have the type of communication system hack to be able to do that.
We have a UN.
I mean, that works real well.
Oh yes, doing a great job, right?
Works real well. Assyria doing fantastic.
Terrible job. Like, why was it even created at this point?
I don't. I feel like it was more of like pride. Good idea, but like hard to execute.
I guess you can't tell a leader of what country to do with their country.
Especially if they give a fuck about who you are.
Which
Like if you're the president of the United States, that's powerful. United States. If you are caught without Secret Service in a different country, you just might get got.
easy, easy peasy.
So like that's what I'm saying is like I don't know. It's really weird the way that the Earth is set up. How we decided along the way that we're gonna have separate countries that speak separate languages, separate things because of separate cultures. It like we're all human and like it shows you how much we're capable of. But, like why did that even like occur? Like what reason? Why did we feel necessary to bulge and like kind of divide ourselves?
I don't know. If anything, it's weird how we can't mesh well. Like I had said earlier, or just previously, was that in the America is supposed to be the melting pot. Everyone's supposed to be able to come together and find opportunity here, and we have found out real well recently, and even in the past few years, how not well that really is. How people are, get out of my country. What the fuck do you mean, your country? It's our country. It's a country of many people. So first of all, you can't just say that to people like it's your country. First of all, do you run it? Oh, you run things around here.
First of all,
are you the boss around here?
If you live in Utah but you were born in Montana, I could tell you go back where you come from too. That would still just be as disrespectful. It would take for you a lot to go back to where you came from, right? You would only be doing that because I don't want you here. Why would you? Fuck would you do that? It's just as stupid as you to tell me to go back to my country where I came from. Like, why would I do that just because you don't like me or you have a problem? You're an idiot. Or that, like, if you have a problem with me, good sir, we can step outside and handle this like men. But if you're gonna, that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever I see videos of like white women disrespecting like minority women, I'm like, how is this lady not getting beat up right now? She's so disrespectful, so disrespectful. Like this is unnecessary. Like people, like I like the way Mike Tyson said it, like on Twitter the other day. Said, this age of social media, people forgot what it means to disrespect somebody and not get punched in the face for it.
Happens a lot.
Age. Really, it's like the age of cameras. Once people realize there's a camera everywhere, they're like, "Can't punch you now." I'm like, caught up. You got on camera. Court case. You wanted to be disrespectful. I lost my cool. Damn it. 4 cameras. Like, oh, that's something to say. Okay, we're outside now. What's up? You want to run that? You want to apologize? That's how it should be. Because people will willingly disrespect you if they feel like there is no like compensation for that. They will not receive any like.
What are you looking for there, bud?
Consequence.
Okay, any consequences? There you go. I think it's stupid how that works. It's entitlement to thinking that you deserve something or that like the world runs the way you want it to. Don't get me wrong. You can make the life into the life you want, but that doesn't mean disrespecting other people. You get that?
Or stepping on people's heads to get above. It's like that's an all eat. Like, I mean, I understand the competitive nature, but that doesn't mean you have to like break somebody's leg just to be able to finish the race.
Doesn't. I think it's wild though how a lot of these things that we see on the internet or on TV really affect the way that we view things. A lot of people don't have to take the time to really figure those things out for themselves. You see a certain image or you see a certain thing, we automatically associate it with a certain thing, and that's just how it is. Kind of like whenever we had that podcast with Malik, and he was talking about, let's say you're one black person, and you go to a town full of white people, and they're not used to seeing black people, and their one encounter with that guy is bad. Now they're going to completely associate everything with black people with
To be
that
bad.
with that one person, but that's based off of one person.
Right.
And you can't really base off everything off of one thing. Just when you're talking about 9/11, when you see, you had terrorists, so to speak, if that was the case, we don't know, partially, but so
I wasn't there. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. So 9/11 terrorists, they fly into the buildings, right? The Twin Towers. You assume, okay, oh, they're Muslims, they wear hijabs. Now instantly, majority of the country, oh, you have a hijab on.
Must be a terrorist.
You must be a terrorist. Our Japanese people bombed Pearl Harbor. Let's put them in concentration camps. It was basically a Holocaust in America that we just let slide. Like it wasn't anything. Yeah.
They bombed Hawaii, man. We gotta do this.
What?
The people who bombed Hawaii aren't here.
I mean, there was probably a couple people that might have been working with them, but you're gonna say like everybody. Like it's just we don't know who it is, so we're just everybody. That's an effective way.
That's the most effective plan. It's like your filtration system is to not filter. It's just get them all, get all of them. It makes no sense. Like anybody that was Japanese at that time had to run for their lives, just like Jewish people did in Nazi Germany.
Exactly. It's terrible. We base all these things off of one thing that happened, and we kind of associate everything with that. Some people actually believe that certain symbols, they actually basically cultivate the life that we live. So they basically, like some people believe personally, let's say you wrote a story, right? The symbols in that story can actually make those things happen in real life. Like putting it on paper or drawing out that symbol can actually bring that stuff to life. Like when you think of Odd Future, right? He always talks about how he drew that donut, and then it came to fruition. Now that donut is a label to Odd Future.
Right.
And what Odd Future stands for. A lot of people believe that if you have intent behind a symbol and you draw it and you put all your belief into it, you can bring that into the world, which is kind of a crazy concept.
I mean, not that crazy. It's kind of just the ideal of like kind of following inner self, like we talked about last podcast, or the one before. Vision, like what feels right. If you understand that, writing things down is just a way to kind of organize your, like writing things down that have power and like carry power in your mind. Stand the test of time. Makes sense. That could create it, like come into whether you created it or it was like kind of something you found along.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where I'm coming from when I say it's crazy is people who make movies or write books of things that aren't happening in that moment, and you start seeing those things start to happen, almost as if they predicted it, but there's no way they could have known.
I don't know. I don't really believe in predictions. I really like to believe in like the non-linear time theory rather than prediction. Like the thought of like time only makes sense because you go into that you've already lived and you can't go into a gonna live. You only like you only life is a series of nows that pass and you now. But what I'm saying is that like that's why we think that linear could be non-linear through our dreams, like we could or have happened to past. During sleep, we have of that. I don't know, like intuition, like a sense of what we really want without the distractions of like everyday life or even distractions of opening your eyes and making your brain perceive light. I don't know, maybe something about sleep shows us like where we should be going or where we've been to like.
Kind of crazy. It's a wild thought to me. It's just how we personally can make things happen through these little things. What these things we may not even think are gonna mean as much as they do,
Or might not mean anything at the might not carry any meaning.
and they come to create a meaning, and then it's something bigger than you ever thought it could even be. Just something so small, or someone taking your idea, twisting it, and turning it into something that is completely not, and that changing the way completely how we perceive everything that is. Because whether we want to or not, is symbolism is so big in how we view everyday life. When you look at Disney, you hear the symbol in Netflix. What instantly pops in your mind? You have a thought of what that means to you already. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be different for everybody. But regardless or not, those things affect how you live your life. You might not even think so. It might be so minute that you don't think about it every day, but those things affect how you live your life, how you view your life, how you see other people. Someone was talking to me one time about watching Disney movies and how they hate watching Disney movies because they put this perception into young kids' heads at a young age. And it's those little symbols or those little ideas that you don't realize as you get older, they play into your life and how you view things. That's kind of how you see, what you see as a kid plays into how you view things later in life, whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you realize it or not. But these things that we're putting into our heads or we're feeding ourselves, it's really is true. What you listen to, who you surround yourself with, what you read, what you watch, those things really do affect how you view the world. They affect how you act. They're going to affect the actions that you make. Not entirely, don't get me wrong. It's not just everything.
They have a portion.
But they play a factor into what you believe in or how you feel about things. It's okay to listen to ignorant shit. It's okay to listen to thought-provoking stuff. But the thing is, regardless, if you're listening to a certain thing all the time, that's gonna be how you feel. If you're listening to people talking about killing each other all the time, you gonna tell me you thinking about rainbows and fucking flowers?
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not the case.
I mean, unless like you're killing somebody on a rainbow and they die and fall off the rainbow in the bed of flowers.
Yeah, because that's what's happening out here. That's the likely story for sure. It's just, we definitely have to be more conscious of the things that we're consuming, of doing our own research, of trying to understand other people, and also understanding that all these things they're putting up in front of our faces because they want us to feel or think a certain way regardless.
Who's they?
The fucking companies, corporations, TV channels. When you see that symbol, they're putting something behind it. It's any great business models. The symbolism is part of the business model. What do you think of when you see that? When you think of McDonald's, the little I'm loving it.
The Nike do it.
What do you think of? But it's also the fact of what does it really mean? You know what I mean? That check also means sweatshops. Kids
children,
making their yeah, you know what I mean?
And with McDonald's. Not at sweatshops, but it's not great food.
It's not good for you. Happy Meals.
Calling it food is kind of a stretch.
Not completely fresh.
Not completely food.
I've never heard them say 100% real beef in my life.
I mean, I think I have, but I'm sure that was a lie.
Fast food. I mean,
100% still fake.
I mean, it's probably real, just not quality. It's not grade A Wagyu beef.
Wagyu steak. Probably like cow eyeballs and.
Oh, it's all ground up. I mean, you see, it's just like the chicken nuggets are they just ground it up like the extra part of the chicken, just bones and all.
Just like the.
Chickens have that. Turkeys have the feathers.
Turkeys have like weird.
Yeah, that's what it is. And chickens have them on their heads. I don't know what that is called. Head hat.
Thousand chickens.
That could be it. That could be.
Who knows, dude? It's not food.
Yum.
Barely food. Food for like.
They eat chickens?
Probably
Hey,
not.
great job. So when you're looking at something, do your research. Make sure you understand what you're feeding yourself. Make sure you understand that everything that they feed you is not going to be necessarily what it is. And even if someone is wearing something that symbolizes something, don't go out of your way to just beat their ass or go out of their way to hate on it.
Unless
First of
they're
all, they might not even understand what they're wearing because a lot of people you have to just know don't know a lot of things.
there was a video of two white girls wearing KKK uniforms.
They were Mexican, white. They were half Mexican.
Down the
Either way,
street.
it's not right.
They were walking down the street and that girls almost beat them up. One of them was like talking to them, like yelling at them. Respect, like not respect,
No.
but they deserved it, in my opinion. It was super insensitive for them to wear that costume, but she was yelling at them like, "Take that shit off." She was like, "You can't be wearing this." And what's that symbolizes to you don't even understand the message that you're getting. You're saying this is okay to wear. I don't care if it's Halloween. Wear that shit. It's like
Yeah,
dressing up as Hitler and going to a party. Like they might not be offended. Somebody that probably will be.
yeah, you can't do that. That's because that stuff is not so far in the
That's
past where
it's not even that. What are you joking about? What exactly are you makes can like a comedians like what a comedian say is funny, it could be very disrespectful to a lot of people. Joke, but there it's like, okay, what are you laughing at? Laughing at people getting lynched, color their skin. That's not a laughing matter, especially the person that shared this. Those two girls are lucky that had the wherewithal in her face, patient, right? Because that's the reaction that a lot of people they really got lucky.
it makes you take into consideration. A lot of people won't still because a lot of people are insensitive, and they say, "Oh, it's just a costume. It's just a hat." Maybe to you, but you might need to get educated a little bit because that does means a lot of things to. And I'm not saying you got to worry about everyone's opinions, but that's just inhumane to do something where you're wearing a certain thing that means so much hate and has caused so much hate, or the person behind what they were wearing, the person behind that symbol has caused so much hate and led to so many bad incidents.
Both ignorant, not know the air or and it also know what it means, what the symbolism behind what you know that you probably should. It's completely ignorant at this point. Like, why? What betterment are you bringing to your life or anyone else's wearing a hat that represents racism? I don't understand it. At this point, if right now, if somebody tomorrow, like in November of 2019, goes and buys a Mac, know what that hat means. They understand completely. There's nobody ignorant. Everybody knows what that hat represents. And there's gonna be people that still buy it out of a joke. Buy it because they believe in exactly what it means, what it represents. But that's what I'm saying is like ignorance.
Got to get with it and understand that you shouldn't do certain things that are hating on people, things like their religion or their race, culture.
Doesn't affect.
You know what I mean? It does. You shouldn't. And if you know that's what that means, and most people can say, "I don't think so." But if you know deep down that that has that kind of meaning, you should know better than not to do it, because you know if someone did something the same to you, you wouldn't like it, and that's usually how it goes on both sides of the spectrum. When you see an argument, oh, you're doing this, but then whenever I can do whatever I want, but then when that other person does whatever they want, they want to say, oh, I can't believe you would do that. Look, if you're gonna use that kind of logic, stick with how you feel. You saying you can do what you want? Let them do what they want if that's the case. And if not, be ready to either get your ass beat, or be ready for someone to be in your face, or be ready for someone to say whatever they want. Because at that point, you're being a hypocrite, and either stand behind what you believe in, or don't say anything at all.
You think it's okay to treat somebody like they're lesser of a person, they're black, then you also saying color you are. Silly. It's you to say that you can oppress somebody because of their religion. It's to say that you are allowed to be oppressed because of your religion. That makes sense to you? If it does, then you're a fucking idiot. But at the same time, you have to come to terms with this. You have to be a logical person at the end of the day. Like, but I want this person to judge me the way I'm judged. Most of these things, like I said, race, religion, language, whatever it is, none of these things. If I have a different anything of those that I just named from you, won't affect. None of my beliefs will affect. My culture shouldn't affect your culture. I mean, we can maybe like share and maybe even like help each other understand a different culture, but it's not gonna affect your culture. Your culture is still gonna exist, as will mine, regardless of each other. Language is, may not be able to understand what I'm saying, but just because I speak Chinese and English isn't gonna exist anymore, it won't affect English. Like you just might not understand each other at the. That's what I'm saying. Is like there's zero effect on your life to feel offended or like I'm doing something in your face or like I'm having negative effect on your life for you to tell me to leave your country or oppress me or not like hire me or whatever the case may be. It's crazy that this shit is it's done. Why are we allowing this? Like it's not even allowance. It's like why are people forcing them? Like if you're a racist person, you are literally forcing yourself to be an asshole to somebody else for some reason that they don't deserve. Why are you doing like why are you forcing yourself to go through this blasphemous point of logic? This person deserves this for what?
A lot of people don't want to go beyond what they see. They see what they see, and they don't want to go any deeper. You see, either they're believing what someone wants them to believe about what they see, and that's how they're going to perceive things, rather than going deeper and understanding what that image really means. Whether it's a person's image, whether it's the symbol that someone's using for their company, a symbol, whether it's a T-shirt, check mark, whatever the case might be. You can't just look at that and say, "Oh, this is what it stands for," because someone else told you that that's what it stands for, or made you believe that's what that stands for, or because you just got that based off of what you've seen once or twice. You have to take the time to understand what these things mean. You have to take this time to understand what other people mean. You have to take the time to really know what we're looking at, what these things actually mean, and how they actually affect them. Because until we do, you're gonna just look at these things, and that's why consumerism is so crazy. That's why capitalism is the way it is. You see something, just I'm gonna buy it. You have no idea what that represents. You have no idea what that means. You have no idea. With the way things are, there's so many different companies now. You could do research, and I guarantee there's a company that's probably doing something to help somebody out or to do something better, rather than these big corporations. It's just because they build a brand around it, or you have a certain outlook on a certain type of people, so you're gonna buy from it because you don't like these people just because of the way they look, which is stupid.
I mean, it's where your values lie. Like value, I get like so. Cash. I mean, we only think cash is valuable, like $100 bill, like that. If that was burnt,
I would, yeah.
you would, right?
I
Be
would, yeah.
like, damn, that's $100. But like, what if no store in a 45-mile radius accepted cash? No, like you have to drive 45 minutes to even. You would still be a little bit sad, but it wouldn't be as big of a like thing. Like, or even if you're out on the ocean on a boat, that cash means nothing. You can't. That burning might be the thing that starts your fire. If you get shipwrecked, fucking need to start a fire on a island somewhere. I don't know. I'm going on, but what I'm saying is value is only as like things are only as valuable as we allow them to be, which is weird because people take value matter like hats. Like all these people, like Donald Trump fans, like fans or whatever the people that fuck anybody who attends his rallies, I think they're buying that hat because they want to make America great again, or because they're gonna do anything to make America great again. No, they're buying that hat because they know that Donald Trump is getting a whole ruckus, and they're probably racist too. They want to support their friend for president.
Or the fact that he does help people get richer, and he does help people make money.
I mean, certain people, I guess, yeah. But I'm saying is like all of these people that go to his rallies are like what, like 65 and older.
You got middle-aged people there too.
You probably got like
You got young kids.
7% under. It's like I maybe like 7 to 15% of the. They're probably like everybody's old ass people. Like when you look at the videos of like the people at the rallies, it looks like somebody's grandfather. Definitely racist.
We can't say that for sure.
Same with these people.
Potentially.
This shit's weird though. It's why people seem like value rather than actually like, cause you're not making anything great just by saying "Make America Great Again." Not doing anything.
You're also not making America great by hating on other people.
Fighting.
Yeah, you're not gonna make anything better that way. Hate does not make anything better. I don't care what you say. Hating on anybody is not making anything better. I don't care what you say. In any situation, I don't care where you're at, what you've been through. Hating on anybody will not make anything better. The only situation may be if someone's disrespecting you and say, okay, we're going to fight right now, and we're going to just get this over with.
Right.
That might potentially make it better. But if you're just going out of your way to hate on somebody who's done nothing to you, then at that point, 100%, you're not doing anything to benefit anybody.
And see, that's what I'm saying is like this, like the representation behind the hat just was fueled with power by these people that wanted to feel okay for being racist. Like they saw somebody that grab them by the pussy, get all these immigrants out of here, they're dangerous. That all this shit in the fucking campaign, like they're saying that when these people that have thought this shit all their life and maybe even expressed it saw this shit on TV, they were like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I get to feel this way openly now. And it became that quickly.
Because when you have a world of fake people, especially in the political world, seeing someone real can definitely change the way you see it. Oh, someone that's more similar to I am than all these other people who are suit and tie. Look at me, I'm a professional. When they're obviously fake,
Right.
obviously.
And that's why he won. But the thing is that it showed us that not only do we have a corrupt and idiotic system to choose our president. Number two, that we don't really need a president at this point if we're going to allow this dude to do it. Number three, it showed us like how easy it was to break down all the other candidates. Like nobody even stood a chance for the simple fact that he didn't give a fuck what they had to say. He wasn't there to listen to what they had to say. He was there to just call them crooked Hillary, fucking sleepy Joe Biden.
It didn't matter.
He didn't give a fuck. Like he was there to fucking tear the competition down. He fucking did that shit.
As if there's a lesson here. Things aren't all what you see, and be aware of what you're looking at. Take time to understand the things that you are looking at. The world, in a sense, isn't necessarily worried about you, but there's a way to change that. Extend your hand out. Focus on the things that are important. Don't let meaningless things take a hold of your life. Don't, if there's a meaning behind a symbol or a meaning behind an image, understand what that is. And if you can do something to make something better, do it. But also don't give in to what it does mean, because then you're just putting more power in. The more energy you give towards it, the more power you're giving that idea or that symbol or that image of what that is.
Also, don't fuel your own ignorance by thinking everything. Tough these days because we think that because we have access to the internet that we're all smart and we all can't be proven wrong and everybody has information. So that means everybody should know everything, right? No. There's a lot of shit we don't know. There's a lot of shit you don't look up. There's a lot of shit I don't look up. But if somebody's trying to teach you something, the wrong way to go about that is to, number one, think you already know what they're gonna say, and number two, stop listening. Because number one thing is like, smart person will continue learning everyone for their entire life. An average person will listen to an extent and then try to teach others. Stupid person will think that they know it. And that's where it comes in, is like, if you're not willing to listen and learn, then you're not going to really get every lesson you need. You're only going to get the ones you choose to have. And the lessons you need to have aren't going to come when you're choosing to have them. They're going to come when you need them. So pay attention. Stop acting like assholes.
Exactly. We all have a lot to learn. We have a long way to go. We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
So keep pushing and keep working hard, and it takes more than one person. All it can take is one person to start start a chain reaction, but it's gonna take all of us to come together and really make the world a better place, to help each other out, because we all need a little bit of love. We could all use a little bit of love and a little bit of help in this world. So don't forget that, and understand, we've got a long way to go, because this is far from finished, and we are far from finished.
Get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Finished From Far, Twitter, Finished From Far. Follow us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. That's Far From Finished, straight up. My personal Twitter is RadDudeDandy.
Mine's Josh_M7. And that's all, folks.
That's all. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all have a fantastic week. Take care.